Victor Frankenstein, which is a reimagining of the Frankenstein story with a kind of steampunk twist. The story is James
Frankenstein.
And funnily enough, they actually make that joke.
Really? What? Really?
Yeah. No, yes. Bizarrely, I mean, what's
this is a young Frankenstein
this
reference.
Yeah, this is uncanny. Okay, so directed by Paul McGuigan, who has done some good stuff in the past, and essentially, the sort of the central twist this time is that Igor.
Young Frankenstein.
Exactly. Is when we first meet him, he is apparently a circus clown treated very badly, seen as one of the freaks. You know, seems to be hunchback and doesn't even have a name. However, he has extraordinary medical knowledge. Victor Frankenstein spies him and rescues him from the circus and wants him to work with him in order to breathe life into dead material, because Frankenstein sees in him something that nobody else had, and he then gives him the name Igor, let's call the whole thing off, and gets him to work as his assistant. Underlying all this is a sort of attempt to ape the shtick of the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies, in which it's sort of flippant and fast talking, and suddenly everything is fabulously modern despite the old setting. Here's a clip.
Mr. Frankenstein.
Victor, please.
I find your promise more than a little unsettling.
Igor, speak up. What do you think?
Everyday science and technology changes the way we live our lives.
Well said, that man.
Life and death are different.
I dream of a world where hope replaces fear. A world where a murdered man can stand in court to face his murderer, where a crippled soldier, shrapnel in his spine, can be killed, healed, then brought back to life to walk again. Life is beautiful. Now tell me what that says.
Death?
Thank you very much. I cannot argue with that. There it is, in black and white, but with a little applied science.
Life.
Now, the funny thing about this is, we were talking about this morning. You said that you had seen a review for Victor Frankenstein.
I saw a review this morning, which was a no-star review. I think it was in the Times, called it an abomination.
Yeah, and I've seen other sort of similarly negative reviews. My own feeling is this: it doesn't work. That's undoubtedly the case. But it's better than some people have allowed it to be. I mean, it's not good, but there are some good ideas. It just doesn't come together. And I was watching it, trying to figure out what exactly it was about it that wasn't working, because I like the players. I like Daniel Radcliffe. I like James McAvoy. McGuigan has worked on some of the Sherlock TV series, the Gatiss Moffat TV show, and I have no problem with people reinventing stories and doing something interesting with them. And there are some talented people involved. And also, there is some interesting carnivalesque production design, some sort of quite nice fleshy creature effects, and certainly the director knows how to stage an arresting set piece. So what exactly is the problem? Well, on the one hand, I think it's that it does definitely look like something attempting to ape the shtick of the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies, right down to the fact that our lead characters see these kind of diagrammatical versions of the medical problems from them in a way which very much kind of echoes the Sherlock Holmes deductions of those movies. The second thing is that the performances are very, very hammy. Not hammery, but hammy. And occasionally the pastiche works, but for a lot of the time it just feels hammy. I think the main problem, however, is that the script by Max Landis is creaky. And I was thinking about Max Landis' work on American Ultra, which again had that same problem of it doesn't ever quite live up to the sort of the smart Alec promise of its setup. So you have some nice ideas, but very creaky dialogue. You have performances which sway between being too broad and just being plain outright hammy. And you have the feeling all the time that it's trying to look like something else. And what you end up with is a movie that, it has comedy and it has, other things going on. But what you end up with, and this is rather important for this film, is that you end up with a film with no soul. I mean, it's very difficult when you're talking about Frankenstein to not get into the thing about, it's a rag bag of body parts strung together and reanimated, but without any soul. But the fact is, that is what it is. And even when something is lighthearted, even when something is a sort of, steampunky reinvention, even when it's those things, it does in the end need to have a soul. I think that it thinks that it does, But at no point did it. You know that feeling when you're watching a movie and it just doesn't come to life. It just doesn't. And you're literally sitting there thinking, I know this isn't working. And what exactly is it? And having thought about it for quite a long time, I mean, I'm not entirely sure why some people have taken so badly against it, because really it isn't anything like the horror show that some people have described.
Well, maybe it's expectation, because with that cast and that story, you would just think with McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe that's going to be great. Yeah,
I agree. And also it may be that that it's one of those films that if you get slightly out of step with it, if you start to take against its tone, it would become very annoying. I didn't. I mean, there were parts of it that I enjoyed, and there were individual bits in it that I thought were okay. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't hang together. It is in the end all over the place. But it's like The Monster. It's an honourable failure, but it is a failure.